So this couple decided to go to the woods to get some alone time and do it.
Don't rush me, Katie. I'm just not ready.
Oh, relax. Cuthbert is just like dancing.
But suddenly, a giant asteroid came down near them.
Did I even let you talk me into this? Maybe we should get out of here. No! No! My ankle! I think it's broken. Katie?
This is the worst date ever.
Seeing what it was caused panic across the world.
Hang it all. What's the point? It's a disaster.
Stop! Don't do it! That button launches all of our nuclear missiles.
Well, then which button gets me a latte?
That would be the other one, sir.
What idiot designed this thing?
You did, sir.
Fair enough. Wilson, fire somebody.
And changed this girl's life forever. Somewhere in the galaxy, a rocky planet collapses and explodes into millions of pieces, releasing a large chunk of quantonium-energized rock that travels through space toward Earth. In California, a woman named Susan finishes the preparations for her wedding ceremony and goes to the church, where she talks to the guests. Before the wedding, she goes outside and meets her fiancé Derek, who tells her they'll have to cancel their honeymoon in Paris to move to Fresno County, where he'll be working as the new anchor for Channel 23.
We're not going to Paris.
What? Why not?
Because we're going somewhere better.
Better than Paris?
Oh, yeah.
Where? Tahiti?
Nope. Fresno.
Fresno! Fresno! In what universe is Fresno better than Paris, Derek?
Even though she's sad about not going to France, Susan supports her fiancé and congratulates him on his promotion, telling him to go wait at the altar while she finishes getting ready. But as soon as Derek enters the church, Susan hears a mysterious bang coming from the sky and notices a gigantic meteorite heading straight toward her. She is hit, but miraculously suffers only minor scratches, allowing her to continue the ceremony normally. However, while she is taking her vows, Derek notices that her skin is glowing a fluorescent green.
Wow. You're glowing.
Thank you.
No, Susan, you're like really glowing. You're green.
At that moment, Susan's hair begins turning white and her body rapidly grows until she no longer fits inside the church. The American military arrives within seconds and attempts to restrain her. They fire a giant tranquilizer dart at her leg, and although she throws the syringe back in retaliation, she eventually becomes drowsy and collapses outside. She wakes up inside a futuristic prison. Confused, she gets out of bed and walks to a large room with a table in the center. While exploring, she hears voices behind a door and tries to talk to whoever is inside but is ignored. Suddenly, a strange tube drops from the ceiling, releasing a disgusting slime onto the table, which attracts Dr. Cockroach, a scientist who accidentally turned himself into a humanoid roach through an experiment. Startled by his appearance, Susan grabs a spoon and whacks him repeatedly until he's pinned to the table. As she backs away in shock, she bumps into B.O.B, a brainless, one-eyed gelatinous blob created from a mutant tomato. While she tries to process that, Missing Link drops from the ceiling and introduces himself as a womanizing half-man, half-fish creature who has been frozen for 20,000 years. After introducing themselves, the trio asks for Susan's monster name and realizes she doesn't have one.
Might we ask your name, madam?
Susan.
No. We mean like your monster name. Like, what do people scream when they see you coming? You know, like, look out! Here comes!
Susan.
Before they can come up with a nickname, lunchtime arrives and everyone receives different meals. Susan backs away again, only to run into Insectosaurus, a once tiny larva hit by a nuclear bomb that has grown over 120 meters tall. As Missing Link calms the giant bug with a belly rub, Susan panics and bangs on the wall for help. General W.R. Monger bursts in and orders the monsters back to their cells.
Monsters, get back in your cells.
Susan, relieved to see a human, begs to go home. The general explains that this facility was founded in the 1950s to imprison monsters, and that Susan is now considered one of them. Because of her giant size and the danger she poses, she is condemned to remain there for the rest of her life. He shows her to her cell, proudly pointing out a kitten poster to help her relax, and gives her a new name, Ginormica.
Oh, and one other thing. The government has changed your name to Ginormica.
Meanwhile, in space, an alien named Gallaxhar awakens and learns the quantonium meteorite crashed on Earth. Determined to recover every atom, he sends a massive robot probe to retrieve it and destroy anyone who stands in its way.
Extract the quantonium with extreme prejudice. I want it all.
Back on Earth, a couple spots a meteorite falling in the woods and calls the authorities.
Don't rush me, Katie. I'm just not ready.
Oh, relax. Cuthbert is just like dancing.
The president, along with the entire U.S. military, arrives to establish first contact.
I must approach it alone. This is all about peaceful communication.
But the probe ignores them and attacks. Even with all their firepower, the robot remains unharmed due to its force field, forcing the army to retreat.
Wheels up, Papa Bear's on the move. Wait.
So that's how you want to play it?
Eat lead, alien robot.
Evidently they eat lead.
Get him on the chopper.
I'm brave! I'm a brave president!
During a meeting in the war room, no one can come up with a solution.
Hang it all. What's the point? It's a disaster.
Stop! Don't do it! That button launches all of our nuclear missiles.
Well then which button gets me a latte?
That would be the other one, sir.
What idiot designed this thing?
You did, sir.
Fair enough. Wilson, fire somebody!
And so General Monger barges in and suggests using the monsters. He explains their backgrounds and unique abilities, insisting they are the only ones who can defeat the probe. Meanwhile, unaware of any of this, B.O.B and Missing Link play cards while Dr. Cockroach attempts to reverse Susan's mutation. After a failed experiment, the general arrives and informs them they'll be sent on a special mission. If they succeed, they will finally earn their freedom. The military drops the monsters near the robot in San Francisco. Terrified by its size, Susan begins to panic, and Dr. Cockroach advises her to hide in the city while the others handle the fight. But they're quickly overwhelmed. The robot scans Susan and detects quantonium inside her, switching into hunting mode. Susan runs, leaping over buildings like a giant spider woman. Missing Link swims through sewers, and Dr. Cockroach rides a jet-powered cable car to regroup. B.O.B eventually frees himself and crashes into the others, sending them all into San Francisco Bay. Susan skates downhill using two convertibles as roller skates, but loses control and ends up on the Golden Gate Bridge, causing a traffic jam. The robot emerges from the water and gets tangled in bridge cables, forcing cars to fall toward its mouth. The military arrives with Insectosaurus, who coats the robot's eyes with silk to blind it. Missing Link and the others join the fight, but Susan is trapped in the robot's grip. Using her newfound strength, she forces its hand open. Dr. Cockroach climbs up Susan and into the robot's mouth, causing a short circuit that reactivates its scanning beam. The bright energy paralyzes Insectosaurus. With civilians still in danger, Susan orders B.O.B to clear the cars so people can escape. She then pulls on the steel cables, toppling the robot. Its massive weight collapses part of the bridge and splits its body in half, shutting it down. Across the universe, Gallaxhar watches his robot fail and vows to retrieve the quantonium personally.
Oh, you think because you're all big and strong and you can destroy my robot probe that you're gonna send me running and hiding? My days of running and hiding are over. Computer, set a course to Earth. I will retrieve the quantonium myself.
After the battle, the monsters visit Susan's home, but years of isolation have made them socially awkward. B.O.B almost eats her mother, and Dr. Cockroach nearly blows up the kitchen. Susan realizes Derek never showed up to support her, so she goes to find him. At the news station, Derek is broadcasting when Susan scoops him into her hand like he's a plush toy. He confesses he isn't ready to give up his career for her and ends their engagement, abandoning her when she needs him most. Devastated, Susan wanders away and eventually stops at a gas station, sitting alone and reflecting on her life. Before long, the rest of the group finds Susan, and they talk about what it's like to live as a monster, as well as her relationship with Derek. During the conversation, Susan realizes she has been deluding herself all along. Suddenly, she begins to be abducted by Gallaxhar's spaceship. Insectosaurus fires silk to try to hold her down, but the alien refuses to let anyone interfere and blasts the giant bug with an energy sphere, knocking the Godzilla-sized creature unconscious. Aboard the ship, Susan is imprisoned while Gallaxhar explains the quantonium and takes her to the extraction chamber. Halfway through, she breaks free of the force field and chases after him, destroying sections of the ship in the process. In the main hall, Ginormica manages to knock Gallaxhar down and continues pursuing him, but it was all a trap. She is captured by the chamber, which begins extracting the quantonium from her body. As the procedure continues, Susan loses strength and shrinks back to her normal size, becoming completely defenseless. Now that Gallaxhar possesses the quantonium, he plans to rebuild his civilization on Earth. He begins cloning himself into an army of aliens powered by the energy. He broadcasts a message to the entire planet, declaring that all who resist will perish, causing global panic. As a last resort, General Monger reunites the remaining monsters and gives them jetpacks so they can fly to Susan's aid. He and his pilot stay behind to distract the alien cannons. The ship's AI fires a boomerang-like energy blast that destroys their jet and sends the general crashing onto Insectosaurus, who is now cocooned. Inside the ship, B.O.B uses his gelatinous body to sneak in and find Susan, who is being taken to the incinerator. To save her, he disguises himself in a Gallaxhar uniform and orders a clone to hand the prisoner over. But the clone assumes he's a defective model and orders B.O.B and Dr. Cockroach to be taken to the incinerator, handing the monsters its badge and weapon. Seizing the chance, B.O.B shoots the clone and they escape. Dr. Cockroach realizes the invasion will continue, even without Gallaxhar, so he decides to activate the ship's self-destruct. B.O.B, completely clueless, stops another clone to ask for directions to the central core and learns it's located above the extraction chamber. Worried that B.O.B might accidentally shoot someone, Dr. Cockroach tries to remove the weapon from his hands, which causes a stray blast that reveals them to the clones. The final battle between monsters and aliens begins. For some reason, none of the clones use weapons, and both Missing Link and B.O.B manage to defeat several of them fairly easily. Susan joins in and takes the gun from Dr. Cockroach, firing at a platoon of aliens. The gun's kickback sends her flying across the ship toward its core. Dr. Cockroach burrows through the walls while B.O.B goes full Pac-Man, devouring every alien in sight. They all end up trapped in the extraction chamber again, and B.O.B accidentally launches everyone into the central energy core. The ship's AI encrypts the system with a color-coded security lock, but Dr. Cockroach disables it easily. He programs the ship to self-destruct in 6 minutes and cancels the invasion. But Gallaxhar activates his backup plan and orders all quantonium to be concentrated in his escape pod. With 5 minutes left, Missing Link steals a vehicle and tries to evacuate his friends, but their combined weight causes it to crash. Only Susan can fit through the main gate. Instead of fleeing, she grabs a pair of hover skates and looks for another exit, stumbling into the robot probe dock. The probe attacks her, but she dodges, escapes outside the ship, and flies directly into the crosshairs of Gallaxhar's cannon. She narrowly avoids the blast and kicks one of the skates into the ship's windshield, striking the alien. Determined to save her friends, Susan demands Gallaxhar surrender and open the gates. He laughs, knowing she's harmless without the quantonium, and climbs toward his escape pod. Susan jumps onto his back and wrestles him down. She grabs his futuristic pistol, but Gallaxhar reveals that the self-destruct cannot be undone. Susan refuses to give up. She fires upward, hitting the container of quantonium, which rains down on her. She transforms back into Ginormica and rushes to rescue her friends from the collapsing ship. Still in danger, the group jumps off the spaceship in freefall, but General Monger swoops in on Insectosaurus, now transformed into a giant moth, and rescues them. With only seconds left, they fly away as the ship explodes, taking Gallaxhar with it. With Earth saved, the monsters return to the city and are finally celebrated as heroes. From the crowd, Derek appears with a cameraman and claims he forgives Susan for messing up, and says he can forget everything if she gives him an exclusive interview for his show. Naturally, Susan rejects him and flicks him into B.O.B, who accidentally swallows him before spitting him out. General Monger congratulates the team and announces their next mission. A slug has fallen into a French nuclear reactor, creating a giant escargot terrorizing Paris. Excited to finally visit France, the monsters head off aboard the giant moth, flying toward Europe and their next adventure. So what did you think of this movie? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time!